Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Retro Stalker. Now, this is a figure that I've heard some people not too happy with, and that is perfectly fine. But we're going to take a look at him. We're going to take a look at everything with the card back, the artwork, obviously the figure, and then the file card and cross-sell. So, before I get started, I want to mention something. I've heard a few people mention how they really think that because he's supposedly not that different than the classified box version that we got, that they should have given him the jetpack and the blasters and the laser rifle from the cartoon, and I'm going to disagree 100%. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you're going to do retro, it should be retro from the 80s. And he didn't have that. He came with this gun right here. Again, you're going to give him his submachine gun, going to give him a pistol, the suppressor, I understand, beret. If you want to do the cartoon figures, then do cartoon accurate figures or cartoon inspired figures. G.I. Joe was not based after the cartoon. It's based after the comic. Comic is canon. The Real American Hero, that is what is canon. But again, a lot of it goes back to your head canon. But a lot of people still in this day think that it is the cartoon. No, the cartoon was based after the action figures and the comic. Larry Hama he is the George Lucas of G.I. Joe. So that is something that I feel differently about. But I mentioned before, like, I don't need to see all this stuff. If you're going to give retro, give the retro weapons. Even if it costs a little bit, we got to take away from the budget. You're trying to say it's retro, then give the retro stuff. Or, hey, do a cartoon-based set of figures with that paint scheme, those weapons, stuff like that. But anyway, I've rambled on too long. I just want to give my opinion on that. So quickly, this is the card art, and he does look pretty similar to what I remember the original figure being. G.I. Joe Sergeant Stalker. Now, on the Cobra Commander, I mentioned how it said the enemy. It didn't say a Real American Hero because it wasn't on them. They weren't, but they were on these. There's no reason to remove a Real American Hero. Are we that sensitive in this day and age that a Real American Hero is going to upset people not to buy G.I. Joe? Just my opinion. It is retro carded. It should have all that stuff. So anyway, here we go. It does look decent. Like I mentioned, I wish all this stuff would kind of be hidden behind. I don't need to see the big, huge blister. Artwork does look good. Nice, thick card. We got the file card, the 5L. That you're not going to get over, but I will once again reiterate, the file card should be down here in the cross cell of not just 3 figures, but all the retro figures, or at least more of them. So it's filling up more of the card, and it gives you that feel of looking at it like, oh, I need that one, I need that one, I need that one. Even if they were Walmart exclusives, even if it is the Hiss Tank exclusive. So anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. This is one of the longest intros that I've done, but it's just something that I kind of wanted to get off my chest and just discuss, because they really need to pick a lane and stick with it. And you can do multiple lanes with different figures, but let us know. So anyway, let's get to this. But before we do, if you like this type of content, you like my ramblings, you like me giving opinions, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe video. And as we know, I do a lot. All right, so we got him out of his plastic prison. As you can see, I have the original, or the first Stalker classified. I also have my original Stalker here, and then I have the one that came with the Bumblebee Transformers. Over here, you can see everything that came with the first classified version, not the retro. The only thing that he doesn't come with is his schmuck, which is a nice little thing. I really haven't found too many uses for it yet, but it is good for display. So he does come with. Now this is for that one over there. His machine gun, and then his grease gun along with the case for it. So quickly, we'll take a look at everything here. So first, he comes with his pistol and suppressor. All right. Has an extended magazine, which I love the look of the extended magazine, but unfortunately, when you are moving a figure around, it kind of gets in the way because it just sticks out so much. The port for blast effects. You got the rectangular suppressor, which I don't mind, but it's also not my favorite. but it can be used for either weapon if you really want to, or you can use it for other weapons. So design on it is pretty good. You got the trigger guard, just got a little bit of detail right there. Even on the grip, it has that nice crossing going through it. No paint on it. Again, I always mention paint does make things pop a lot, but you won't be using this gun all that much for the most part. We have his classic grease gun. Now it looks warped already, so definitely going to have to do a little bit of heating to get that straight. It's not as flimsy as some of the weapons, but it's also not as stiff as some of the newer ones have been, and that is disappointing. Looking at the original one here, this one is much stiffer. So clearly, they're either using the old or using the new plastic and haven't gone to the old plastic that they're going to be using, or this is what they're going to be doing. And not my favorite part of these figures, to be 100% honest, as he kind of shoots on the side. So it does have a built-in suppressor. It has the removable magazine. It does pop right on in there. Detail is good. And again, if I take my original one, you can compare the two and you can see exactly how close they tried making it. They did give, like I said, the built-in suppressor. I believe it is a suppressor. But the ammunition, I believe this actually uses a clip, not a magazine, but not going to argue with people. The design on it is pretty much the exact same all the way down to the stock, being like this. I don't know if that's how they actually are. But even the design on the gun, where you have the safety and everything, is pretty dead on. All right. Now, here is the case for it. As you can see, it has a couple little buckles there. It's strapped down. It's got a spot for the magazine. It's folded over, which, ooh, I like that. So basically, this is made so you can unfold it, and if you have something longer sticking out, like a suppressor, I never really noticed that. All right. So if you are wondering, this does clip off. It slides straight down like this, and then you take the magazine, and this slides in like so. So you can carry everything on him. All right. We have the machine gun. I'm not a big fan of this. I don't know. It does seem a little small. It is straight. It does have flex to it, but it seems like this one's going to go back to where it's supposed to be. The magazine is removable, and I'm glad they at least painted the bullets, because it just would have looked really ridiculous if it wasn't. So here's your detail on it. He has his sights here. Unfortunately, it's not hollow. But the detail on it looks pretty good. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. It's got a port for blast effects. You're definitely not going to be putting a suppressor on this, or I mean, you could, it just wouldn't make any sense. Then the magazine just clips right up in here. So, all right. And then you got the knife, which is super thick. Actually, has a tape on it, which makes it look even worse. It's super thick. Doesn't look really good. It does have the black handle and the silver. I can't imagine I'm ever taking this out of the sheath, but as long as it's sitting in the sheath, I won't notice how bad this knife really is. It does have a little bit of detail on the handle, and I like the fact that it's at least painted over here, but unfortunately, it's just so thick, and I think it looks ridiculous. All right, so here's our figure. Ooh, and there went Cobra Commander. And there is his beret. Now, looking at this beret, the marks are supposed to be there. So they put camouflage on it. The original one did not have camouflage. So again, you're doing retro. I'm not really sure why you're trying to make things a little different, but they are. I don't mind the camouflage, but I'm not sure why you would do that when you're doing retro. But it has an insignia on it. I'm being told that is, I believe people have said that's the wrong thing. I don't know. Camouflage does look good. You can really see the seam right there. I don't think you can see the seam as you can. It's still there. I just don't think it's as noticeable. But sometimes the camera kind of makes it stick out. So here's the figure. He's the same as that. I like the brighter camouflage. So here's my original one. and you can see that it is pretty much the exact same. Colors are a little bit different. It's kind of a mix. Now, are these the same? You guys can decide. I think I thought while in the package, it looked closer to this, but out of the package, I think it kind of looks more like the original. So I'm just gonna push these over here, and we'll go over that in a second. So I love the head sculpt. It looks like the stepdad from Something About Mary. I know people have complained that he looks too old and gruff to be a sergeant, but I think he looks amazing. And maybe they're correct. Maybe most sergeants wouldn't be this old, but I think he looks awesome. He has a line shaved in his head. Hair looks good. Eyes and paint seem to be looking pretty straight at you. Paint looks good with the mustache and everything. Then you got the camouflage that runs through here. And the camouflage deco, if we do look, is different. So they're not using the same camouflage deco. It's not like they just went in and hit change the Pantones. They actually changed the whole deco of it. All right. So quickly looking at everything, you got a flashbang or a smoke grenade right there. You have the knife right there that's already sheathed up. Nice design on this web gearing. We've discussed this before. You have the nice buckle on it. It is all black. Again, it would have been great to have a little bit of maybe paint apps right up here on the grenade and on the knife. Go down, got your place for your suppressor and your pistol, and then you have your other knife. And again, the texture on everything looks really good. Now, a lot of people aren't really happy with this, but I can tell you, this is a figure I can see a lot of people buying to customize the same way they did with Grunt. All right, you got the pockets on the back here, and then you got your black boot. So everything does look really nice. Now, to compare the two here, I have absolutely no issues with this one, but I also really like this one too. I like the way they both look. Would it have been nice if there was a change? I think that this guy should not have been OG. I mean, they really changed the color, so you can't say that they barely even changed the color. The color is completely different, all the same weapons. But again, you're saying that it's retro. You got to go at least as retro as possible. But here you have the black boots, black holster here, the black web gearing, and then obviously the much brighter colors. Now, if we take our original O-ring here, who I don't care what anyone says, he still does look French. You got the mustache. On the web gearing, you can see you have the knife right there, right up there, and then he has a pineapple grenade, and then he has the flash of bang grenade there. So they did the web gearing here. Here, if you didn't know, there's a little Hasbro house, and then here they really did the clamp. All right, he had no whatever it's called. I said it so many times, you start to forget it. Holster here. No knife over here, but he does have some sort of little pack. So if you do remove this, you're going to have those pouches right there. And now you finally do have the black boots. Now right there, you can see that. That was from my grandmother's dog, Penny. Rip Penny. It has been probably 40 years. Maybe not exactly 40 years. Maybe about 38 years. 37. Anyway. I do think this is closer to what we had as the original. So the color scheme I'm fine with, calling it retro. Again, I'm not sure why they decided to go with a beret that is camouflage. It doesn't look awful, but it's not my favorite. Let's take this one and see how it looks. And I actually think it looks... I mean, if you want it to be closer to the original, I would say use that one. If you're not into painting, you don't want to make these changes, go with something like that. I think that fits even better. All right, so the articulation on him quickly. He does look up, he looks down. His neck is kind of on two different joints here, side to side. T-pose. Then you have your bicep swivel. Double pinless joints right there on the elbows. He does have butterfly, but as I will mention again, they don't really cross over. These really should be made, and his would have been perfect because they should be made so he can cross over and hold a pistol. Hands are going to swivel. He's got the Jean-Claude Van Damme drop down hips. There you have your ab crunch. You can turn side to side. Double pinless knees, no problem. Again, it is like 80 here in Michigan, so it's another hot day. That nice pop sound. There you go. So everything is pretty good. You know the articulation for the most part. I'm not having any issues. No stickiness. He's not too soft. He doesn't seem too smooth. So let's get rid of this guy. Let's kind of quickly pose him. I'll pose him with the machine gun. And I'm not really sure how much is different. All his stuff is black. Like this is all black, where this was a shade of green. It looks like the guns are pretty much, it looks like this might be even a darker black, but it's going to be really difficult to tell. Oh, and the knife, which is going to sheath right in there. And it's nice and tight. Oh my gosh. All right, Hasbro, maybe thin this thing out a little bit because it does not want to. So I guess it's going to sit like that. God, I have it in the right way. Holy shit. Jeez, man, that is tight. You probably want to warm this thing up. Warm this up. Don't warm the knife up. The knife is already super soft and flimsy and bendy as it is. All right. Where'd my pistol go? Oh, did I mention it comes with a stand? The stand, there should be a name on here, and there's not. It just has a star. 2 little pegs. Again, you know my feelings on stands. I'm going to use them as little as possible. So, gun goes right there. Their pistol. This bad boy is going to slot. Maybe. Man, everything is super tight here. That's what she said. Whew. Geez, that is. Oh, you know what? Look at that. That is awful. Man. So, I don't think it's going to fit in there properly. I mean, it's supposed to go all the way through. It looks like the hole is just too small. And I feel like now I got to sit here and... Yeah, that's too small. So, it's closed up. Where this one here, you can see it goes all the way through. This one, you're going to have to cut a little bit. Now, maybe it's just mine. I haven't looked at other reviewers to see what they have to say. Oh, there we go. You only got to push that thing through there. And you can kind of see how it's breaking off. So yeah, if you heat this up, it'll fit in there a little bit easier. Again, if you're new here, you're wondering why are you spending so much time, I like to show you what you're going to deal with when you first get the figure, how well you can pose them, if you even can pose him. I think we're kind of at the point we know what the classified figures can do for the most part and what they can't, but there's always new people coming in to the line. All right, as you can see, feel his. You know, I look at it now and I really don't like the camouflage beret. And you have to pull this thing down. Let's see how well this thing slots on here. All in all, he is the exact same figure that we had before, minus schmuck. But we really have no issues posing him, and as you can see, he's not even on, his heel's not even down, so no problem posing, and this is a nice desk or table that kind of bounces around. Anyway, what if we get him on one foot shooting? One foot shooting. No problem whatsoever. I don't know why you want to be shooting like this, but it might be an actual good action pose, to be 100% honest. So anyway, I know a lot of people aren't happy. They think that you probably didn't need this figure, especially considering these were on clearance for like $5 not too long ago, I think. But this is a great buck for doing customization, pulling the camouflage off them, just so you have a full army green figure. So, all right, there we go. Let's wrap it up. All right, so there you have it. That is the retro carded Stalker. I feel like I spent way too much time on a figure that's already been done. It has the same accessories, but I guess I had a lot to say about him. He's a good figure. I really like the original, but man, I gotta say, I'm looking at this one and I really like these colors. I'm not a huge fan of the beret, but looking at it more, it kind of grows on me, but hey, it's up to you. This is going to be a great for fodder if you're looking to customize them. If not, and you're like, hey, I missed out on Stalker, I don't know how you could have, because he was all over the place. Go to Amazon, you can get him right now. But right now, this is one we're looking at. So if you like it, go pick it up. I will drop a couple links in the description of where you can get it: Entertainment Earth, Amazon, and places such like that. But I'm gonna get out of here. You know what to do. If you're on Instagram, I don't know what word I was trying to say. If you're on Instagram, take a second, give me a follow, a punk with toys. And after that, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe video. And like I said, I drop a lot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of here, but don't go anywhere. I'm going to drop a G.I. Joe classified figure right here review, and down here will be the playlist of all the G.I. Joe classified figures that I've done.